Hello and welcome to another chat with me, the author Michael Campling, Mikey to friends such as you and I. And it is August the 19th, 2024, which is a Monday at the time of recording. And I haven't done one of these for ages. Trying to get back into doing it. Would like to do it once a week if I can. So bear with me as we sort of get back into the teething difficulties all over again. So I wanted to come on and record a quick chat because one of the things that's changed recently in this sort of the little collection of websites and social media and so on that I use to keep in touch with you all has changed massively. And that is because in a bid to simplify all these things and to spend more time actually writing books and stories, which is, I think, what most people want me to actually get on with, I have been moving things over onto Substack, and Substack is a platform which is free for you to use. There are some people charging for some of their posts on there, some of their content. I might do that in future. I'll come on to that in a minute. At the moment, not. But it allows me to have my sort of community pages on there, to share some things on there, to send out my email newsletters and all that kind of thing, all in one place. So it's quicker and easier for me. I hope it will be a quick and easy way for people to get in touch. Substack has a if I could speak properly, a website at substack.com, which is kind of spelt very much as it sounds. There is an app which I think is pretty good. So you can put that on your phone or your tablet, I should think. I don't know if I've tried the tablet version yet. Certainly seems pretty good on my phone. I've been looking for a few other people to follow. And so I'm getting, posts from other people, seeing how it all works. I did test it out quite a while before I committed to it. And I think so far it's going to be okay. As well as my VIP Readers Club on Substack, you will find, well, within that, what they do in Substack is they call each sort of page and group of features, they call it a publication. So imagine it a bit like a magazine. So there are posts which are sort of like blogs and they get sent out as newsletters. Aiming to do one of those a week. And in there, I will put my featured photos. Be much quicker and easy for me to do that. There's also a notes section, and that is for when I want to sort of pop in a quick update. Now, I might do those, say, once a day. Depends what's been going on. We'll see how that goes. But say I've taken an odd picture that I think looks kind of interesting or intriguing, I would put that in there. Whereas the posts, the stuff that goes out as an email would be, say, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos. The other day I did one and I had 2 galleries, each with 3 in, because they were from different places. And that was really quick and easy for me to do. It was quite a relief. It saved me an awful lot of sort of clicking and copying and saving and downloading and resizing and uploading and all that kind of stuff. It also kind of keeps me away from doing things like Instagram and Facebook, owned by Meta, of course, Twitter, owned by you-know-who, and so on, all the other social media. I like to keep away from that as much as possible. And I kind of feel when I'm sending my readers over to those places, which I have done in the past, trying to make things convenient for the readers, really, is that I'm sort of driving people into the arms of advertisers, and that whilst they are there, so they might go to see my Facebook group or Facebook page, but what happens is they're being tracked by the parent company Meta, or Facebook, as most of us probably still call it. And your online activity is being tracked and monitored and used to sell you stuff. And increasingly, I find on any social media, really, that I'm not seeing what I want to see. I'm not seeing what I've chosen. I'm seeing stuff that the algorithms think I ought to be seeing. And a lot of that is adverts, so it is uncanny, really, sometimes that you mention something, or you look for, you're looking for a new TV or something, and suddenly all these adverts for TVs pop up. And, of course, it's not uncanny. It's because of tracking. But I won't sort of get into all conspiracy theory on you. It's just I know that is how these things work. So I'm trying to move away from all that. It's a time suck for me. It's a distraction for me. It keeps me away from writing. It kind of scatters my attention. There's a lot of that in the modern world, isn't there? And I don't like it. I'd rather concentrate on things I actually want to see. And for me, that means a lot of reading. A Substack is mainly about reading. So it's mainly about people writing content which they think is worth reading. And I like that. I like to sit and flick through the people I'm following on the app, and I might read some of their stuff and I might ignore others. It's quite easy to just go through. So I quite like it as a reader, as a sort of consumer of content from other people. I am hoping later on to find some other people doing fiction. It doesn't seem to be that much on there at the moment. It's not particularly about fiction, but if I do find some interesting writers on there, whether it's non-fiction or fiction, I'll perhaps be recommending one or two people later. We'll have to see how that goes. Not come across anybody outstanding that I'm wanting to share at the moment. So that's the notes is the short form, the posts is the bit that gets sent out as email, and there's a little feature on there called chat. And at the moment I'm just leaving all that open to all the subscribers. So I start a thread and you can comment on there. So I put a thread up saying, do you have a quote that I might be able to use in another newsletter? And a few people have suggested some, which is really nice. So that's quite a quick way of being able to comment on things. And you can comment on the posts as well and the notes and so on. You don't have to sort of dive into the whole Substack thing if you don't want to. You can just carry on getting your email newsletters, leave it at that. They'll pop into your inbox. Occasionally, I think that Substack are slightly double dipping in that they only make any money if people pay for content. So what happens is it's not so much that they're tracking the readers, but they would like writers, people like me, to produce paid newsletters, and then Substack will keep 10% of the money owed to me, if you see what I mean. So kind of I'm the customer, not you. That's the kind of way they angle it. And I am happy with that. I haven't done any paid content yet, but I am looking into it. I'm thinking about it. I only want to do it if it's going to be worthwhile for readers who might feel able to pay for it. So it has to be, value. It has to be good value for readers. And B, it has to sort of fit in with the schedule and kind of with my own values and what I want to produce for readers. I'm thinking of a few ideas, kind of pieces that would be extra. It wouldn't be sort of serial fiction. I know that's what some people are trying. I don't think that's really a great way of doing it. And it would mean taking a lot of time out of my novel writing, which is still my main activity, of course. But I'm thinking of maybe a sort of entertaining kind of slice of life, little, almost like a day in the life sort of article, a slice of life commentary in an entertaining, perhaps almost like a diary type format. We'll have to see. And then I could also do an audio version as well. So there are kind of all kinds of options on Substack. I can put video on there without having it to be on YouTube. That's my understanding anyway. And I can do audio. I can do podcasts. I can photos, all kinds of stuff without having to leave it. And it's all there. It's just saves me a lot of time. Already I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief when it comes to things like putting up content. So it does mean that I don't have the membership scheme on the website anymore. On my michaelcampling.com is still there, but the members only posts are just reverted to being ordinary posts. Some things I've taken away, like the old podcast episodes and so on. But you don't need to sign up to see anything on the site. So the older stuff you can go and look at. The newer stuff will just be on Substack. I'm not going to be putting it in 2 or 3 places. So it will be there, and the newsletters will roll out. And I might sort of share a link on Facebook. Say, if I post something on Substack, I might share it to Facebook just to say, here's this thing, go and look, But that's only a couple of clicks that it takes me to do that, so that's okay. I hope that makes sense. What I am really, really hoping is that there's no kind of pressure from Substack about signing up to other people or signing up for paid content. I really don't want anybody to feel hassled or that they're being sold to all the time. I think there is a sort of reasonable compromise to be made, because all they're ever doing is sort of trying to mention that there are other people who you might like and so on. I can choose some later on. I'm hoping to recommend, as I mentioned earlier, if I find somebody I like, I can sort of add it into my sign-up process, I believe. But I don't want to go too much into all that. As far as I'm concerned, if you came for the newsletter, you should get the newsletter. You shouldn't be hassled. If you want to come over and look at the little notes and join the community things, that's up to you. That'd be great. That'd be super. You can mix and match all these things, of course. You can read on the Substack app on your phone, or you can go to the website. These things really are optional. I mix and match. If I'm working at my desk, I might read something on the online browser. Just go to substack.com and look at my subscriptions there. I get some emails. If there's something I don't like, I'll just quickly unsubscribe from it. That's very quick. It's all quite easy. You can control the notifications on your phone on the app as well, because you don't want too many things popping up. We'll see how it goes. I think I may have inadvertently followed somebody or subscribed to their content earlier by sort of not unticking a box in time. So, you do have to kind of watch out, but that was my fault. I was just being careless. It's nothing to do with them. So it's slightly different, but, I think to get away from the adverts and to have a space that's not concentrated on silly videos of, people doing a dance or whatever. Things like TikTok drive me bonkers. Tried it. I've tried posting some videos on there even, and it just seems all very trivial and nonsensical and scattering attention all over the place. And there's too much of that already. It just becomes noise, I think. Even Instagrams is just, full of reels, and YouTube's full of these short content videos and so on. And it just becomes a bit crazy. This podcast should be available anywhere you subscribe to get podcasts. I hope that all goes okay. I've just been changing it over today, and sometimes these things take 12 hours or so to go through the system, because the podcast is coming from somewhere else. I said I'd mention about the paid content a little bit because I am wondering whether I can kind of fade out the old, or phase out, I should say, the coffee.com page. Some of you have been very kind. My instinct is to keep it there for somebody who would like to do a one-off, little tip, send me a mug of tea. That's fine, but I don't want to sort of muddy the waters too much, because if I'm doing some paid content here, people need to know what they're getting, what they're paying for. Almost everything that I do and put out will be, as it always has been, free. I have no desire to sort of put out 1 or 2 things free and everything else you've got to pay for. I kind of hate that paywall experience. But then again, if people want to support independent writing and they feel like they would like to get something that's a bit extra, something that they are prepared to pay for, much in the same way as we might pay for a newspaper or a magazine or something, whilst knowing that that money doesn't go to a corporation or, some massive tax dodging company somewhere or some dreadful media mogul. It's going to support people like me who are, just trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep producing content, which we hope people will enjoy. But I'll let people know, and I'll do a bit of testing to see what I can produce regularly. So the usual newsletter, Because Life is Easier, I'm hoping to do it once a week, and people might think, well, I don't want it once a week, but I guess you can unsubscribe. I think, again, this is new to me, but I think that you can subscribe to different areas of my publication, which, remember, that's what Substack calls things. So I'm tagging things, stuff like book news and podcast and what have you. I need to get to grips with that a bit better, just to check how that works. But I believe there's a sort of manage your subscription button, and if you go to that, it might show you lots of little switches which you can then click on to switch them on or off, like little visual toggle switches. So I think it'll be good. If you have thoughts on it, you should be able to reply to the emails you get. Some of the ones that came through the other day ended up in my spam folder, so I'm not sure how that happened. I'll have to look into that a bit more. But you should be able to reply to any of the email newsletters. You can go over to the Substack app and sort of go in through there or the Substack website and find the VIP Readers Club there, and it should all be okay. And you'll see the publication sort of taking shape as I add more content to it, and you see new things coming up, and you find the notes and the podcast section, all that good stuff. And I'm finding it quite nice. A few people have commented on the notes and joined in the chats, and that's really nice. It's nice to see that. Always nice to hear from people. And the great thing is it's very quick for me to respond, so I can keep in touch with you and just sort of say thank you. Much easier. Whereas if I have to sort of face my cluttered inbox and actually write proper replies, I mean, I love getting emails. I do enjoy them, but I know for a fact, so I may as well admit it, I'm not very good at writing replies, because I sort of get to the end of the day where I've been working on my novel, and my ability to form sentences is a bit impaired by then, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, what should I write for this email? And I just can't think, what's going to be the correct response without sort of sounding too kind of trite and like I don't mean it, if you see what I mean. So I do love getting emails from people. I just know that I have to kind of carve up my writing time for the novels. Things like this, well, I can talk all day. So it's nice. This is a break for me. I've kind of finished writing for the day, and having a chat with you, it's quite a nice way of relaxing. But you probably think, well, he's not very focused. He's blathering away about all sorts of things in random order. Well, I probably am. But like I say, I've been deeply embroiled in the latest novel. That's coming along. D.I. Spiller is on the case. Dan and Alan are on the case. We are sort of entering that last bit of a mystery, which is kind of nice to read and nice to write. But it does mean I have to sort of go back through the plot, picking out places where clues ought to be, just to make sure that they are there and that they make sense, that they are either hidden away or, or they turn out to be red herrings, and in which case they're resolved one way or another. So it's slightly sort of tricky part of the process, where I've just got to make sure it hangs together. But I can't be many days away from finishing the first draft, and then I'll take a little break from it just to sort of clear my mind of it a bit, and then I will go back to chapter 1, back to the prologue, and start going through it, and reading it all again, and doing quite a bit of rewriting as I go. I do that quite a lot. I usually do about 3 kind of drafts, and then there's the beta reader stuff, which will be a sort of that people will be alerted to that through the newsletter. I don't think I'll make a separate publication for the street team. I think what we'll do is we'll do it on a case-by-case kind of basis. Not an investigative case for Dan, but, as a case for each novel, I can, in the newsletter, I'll put a form. So would you like to, be a beta reader, fill in this form? Always good to get thoughtful and detailed feedback from readers who've really taken the time to get to grips with a book and really thought about the characters, the plot, and which way it's going and so on. And sometimes they spot all kinds of mistakes that I hadn't noticed, which is brilliant, really helpful. Because when you're too close to a book, you sometimes can't see which way it's going. Okay, that seems to be a fairly long chat, longer than I intended. Sorry if it's slightly rambling. I will have a go at posting this up on the podcast part of my Substack, and we'll see. I don't know if it's going to get sent out as an email. I can usually control that, but this is the first one, so very much a learning experience. Otherwise, hopefully you'll be able to find it in things like Spotify, YouTube, podcast, the audio part of YouTube, and other places where podcasts are available. If this episode isn't there, I guess you won't be hearing this. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'll sign off for there, and I'll go and think about doing some other things. I should tidy my desk, really. It's an absolute mess. By the time I get to this point in the novel, I've got a big stack of scribbled notes on bits of paper as well. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you to everyone who's supported by reading the books, buying the books, sharing the books, telling their friends about any of my books. It's all wonderful. If you've posted reviews, things like that, Goodreads, Amazon, wherever you found the books, that's fantastic as well. It's always lovely to hear of books being shared. If you've enjoyed it enough to tell your family and friends and your mates at your book club and what have you, that's fantastic. That's really, really heartwarming. So look after yourselves. Happy reading. Take care, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.